What station is this for?
NBC's station in Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. Well, Adam, we have never met before,
Nope.
but I certainly remember you well from Bodyguard.
Oh, thank you.
Was that a nice experience for you?
Very much so, yeah. Everyone on the set, as a matter of fact, DC Cab is very much like that, very sort of a group effort. And it was, it was my first film. It was a great experience, definitely.
Of course, let's see, when you did Bodyguard, you were how old?
17.
And you're now?
21.
Yeah. And of course, one does change between 17 and 21. But I wonder, have you lost weight or something? You really look even more different than I would have expected.
Well, believe it or not, I was shorter then. So I think it kind of just stretched.
Taller and thinner.
Yeah. Baby fat, bye.
In DC Cab, you seem to be the only sane person in a sea of zanies. Now, as you were making the film, did that make a difference for you? This character you play, I mean, you know, having to be the sane one. Did you have to act differently on the set?
Well, yes, I had to be sane. Normally, I'm insane. No, the thing on the set was I had to play the straight man because there was no way I was going to compete with all of the crazy comedians and other actors' characters, and my character didn't call for that, so I tried to play it as straight as possible.
But did you sometimes feel like, you know, I'm going to get lost in this thing?
I wasn't afraid I would lose my identity. The only thing I would have been afraid of was being lost in just the shuffle, possibly. But I thought the more solid I stayed, the stiller I stayed, as opposed to the craziness, was my best chance of winning in the scenes.
See, that's precisely the way I was wondering if you were consciously aware of that, because it's precisely the way I see you. You know, you just jump out from the screen because you are so different from the rest of them. So that's good. When you were in Ordinary People, Robert Redford directed, and of course got the Oscar for it. Now, as a young actor, what do you think you learned from him as a director?
Well, obviously he's an actor himself. I learned that there are several ways to become a director, and just from his being around so many films, gave him enough knowledge to be able to do such a great piece of work. That gives me a lot of inspiration to be able possibly to go on and do that in the future. Give me 20 years or so. But the respect I have for the directors I've worked with, and Redford is definitely up there with Tony Bill and Mr. Schumacher, who directed this. I can't say enough.
Did he, you know, enlighten you as far as technique or anything like that? Because he is such a fine actor himself.
He was very available to the actors. And some directors are very technically oriented, and being an actor himself, he was very available to us. If we had any problems, we could most certainly approach him and ask him. He was always there for us to talk to about our characters or problems we had with the scene. And
but
it was a lot of fun.
When you were working in front of the camera for him, would he, you know, come to you and say this or don't do that, or what I'm getting at is that since he is an actor, you know, was he more involved in bringing out the characterization than some other directors might be?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have enough experience with that many directors, but he was certainly on top of the situations that we had, and he's a great director.
There seems to be now quite a little group of young male actors. There for a while, you know, there just weren't many. Matt Dillon, I guess, came on the scene, and now suddenly, you know, we're seeing more young young leading men.
Mm-hmm.
And you're certainly one of them. Now, do you all go up for the same parts? Have you been up for all of those same parts that go to Dylan and Tom Cruise and these different people?
Sure. There's being such a subjective business with the directors. They can they have so much to choose from with actors that they see everyone and the possibilities. They can always rewrite a script, and it's very versatile. They can just, if they want, they can put anyone in a role if they like them enough. So sure, there's. I'm sure we've gone up for the same roles. I don't know exactly which ones, except for the ones that are released and out now. But
are all
sure.
the roles you're playing pretty much kind of the straight fellow, the straight man? Or have you had some really off-the-wall things?
This guy is a straight man, isn't he? I don't think they're necessarily just straight men, but in Reckless, which is coming out in February, I play a fellow who is sort of left behind when a young rebel without a cause steals his girlfriend, and there's a more external stuff going on, and this character in DC Cab is very external, which is different from the internalization of Bodyguard and Ordinary People, and
well, we'll look forward to that. Who else is in Reckless?
Kenneth McMillan, who was in Ragtime, and Cliff DeYoung, Daryl Hannah, Aidan Quinn.
Good people.
Yeah, definitely.
Good people. Well, we enjoyed your performance very much
Thank
in
you very
DC
much.
Cab, Adam, and it's very nice to meet you. Thanks for
Nice to
having
meet
this
you, too.
interview with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye, Dallas.
Okay.
Tape is rolling. Stand by, please. And speeding.
And sound. Were you afraid that you would get lost in this movie being the only sane person in a sea of zanies? You seem to have changed from, you look different from you did. You look different from what you did in Bodyguard.
Could I get you to re-ask that question one
Yeah.
more time, please?
You look different from the way you looked in My Bodyguard. As an actor, what was it like working with Robert Redford? What sorts of things would Redford do to help you with your characterization? You have a movie coming out, Reckless. What sort of character are you in that? Who else is in that movie? That should do it. Thank you.
Very good.